Welcome to Near Falls with D. Hall. He's talking on bars and how they win it all. Yeah, it's just Near Falls with D. Hall. The final takedown, the glory or the fall. So loosen up, step on in, wrestle with the need to win. We're talking Near Falls with D. Hall. Ready or not, he's here to brawl.
What's going on, wrestling fans? Welcome into another edition of Near Falls with D Hall, a wrestling podcast. Today, so excited. This is the best time of year. My favorite project of the year, the 24-25 Wpial Coaches Preview. So excited to bring this to you guys. I have a bunch of different coaches coming on from across the Wpial. They're going to come on, talk about their schedule, expectations, up-and-comers, their leaders, their seniors, all that type of stuff. You guys know the drill. This is year 3 or 4 of me doing it. So pumped up to bring it to you guys. I really hope you enjoy it, and just hope you enjoy listening to these guys talk like I did. It was always a blast for me, and this year was no different. So without further ado, welcome in to the Wpial Coaches Preview.
Welcome to the Near Falls Wpial Show, where Dial and Kaz are gonna tell you all the things you wanna know. Whether it's Trinity or Spencer Lee or Mr. Kurt Angle, just ask Vinny, Webby, yeah, Ken and Mac for sure. They got the interviews to soothe your soul, because it's Near Falls in the Wpial.
We are back again, brother.
D Hall, what's up, brother?
Oh, dude, what a great weekend that was. So much to talk about, so much to get into, some duels that we got to break down, a great week ahead that we can preview. We're going to talk about it all. But yeah, man, just so much to get into. Where did you set your sights on this weekend?
Saturday, I went to the Burl-Kiski duel at Kiski, kind of a whole wrestling fest type thing there. They had the junior high teams wrestled. They had youth matches. The women's team wrestled. The men's team wrestled. It was an all-day affair there at Kiski. So I was out there, but I was following along on my phone, checking in on King of the Mountain results, Beast of the East Saturday, and then the Nurse Pro tournament down in West Virginia that I know Franklin was there, Connellsville was there, Fraser, a couple other Wpial teams, and they did well. So kind of tabbing in everywhere. What about you?
No, pretty much the same, man. I was hunkering down at home. Little dude's a little banged up, a little sick, so hanging out with him. But no, I echoed it kind of the first show. But man, Jeff over at PA Power, being able to have streams has been fantastic for me personally. Being able to, I pretty much watched all of King of Mountain, which was fantastic. So, kudos to Jeff, kudos to PA Power. If you're not a Rockfin subscriber, get one. It's a no-brainer. You get so much with it. The PA Power stuff, Willie's stuff, Justin Bash's stuff. There's a slew of other stuff on there. But yeah, so little shout out to them. So yeah, man, I was pretty much locked into that, and following along to the few teams that were out there at Beast of the East, which, the two teams that were out there, they did a really, had a great showing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's that's a heck of a schedule for, Norwin.
For Norwin, yes.
Norwin right away. I mean,
holy shit.
They went out, they wrestled Beast of the East Saturday, Sunday. And now they're going to follow that up with Powerade. And what is that, Friday, Saturday of this week? So they're doubling down on two of the 3 best tournaments in the country. I think it's fair to say. They're doubling down, wrestling both of those, getting their kids great exposure, and it's more than just the exposure because he has kids in his lineup who can compete and compete really well at those tournaments. I mean, Landon Sidden won the damn thing, so and I'm sure he's going to try to finish that up with a Powerade title.
Yeah, man. I just had him on, and we'll play his little interview here. I had him on for about 5 minutes or so, and just for a 10th grader, I just am impressed with his maturity, his calmness, his ability to just kind of compartmentalize, and is just really like, hey man, it's just another tournament. Go out, get the dub, go on to the next one, type of thing. So, and it was impressive to see, impressive to talk about,
and same with TJ.
Yeah,
Thomas
man.
Jefferson the same way. I mean, TJ's doing the exact same thing. They wrestled at Beast. They'll be at Powerade. They had two place at Beast.
Yep.
Shaw and Marlowe, and then I mean Shepherd Turk's there too. I mean Turk's going to be in the mix of Powerade as well.
Here in the Powerade, right? So yeah, all three of those guys are studs, and TJ's another team. As we look at the dual side of things, they're going to be sneaky. One of those teams that if the things break the right way, I mean, you got three hammers right there in the lineup that are going to win probably 98% of their matches. So
and they're going to have a full lineup, and even their what we would call not their horses, they're solid. The Rehack kid, like they're tough, and I think they're a team come team postseason that I'm not saying they're going to be at the state tournament. They could, maybe not, but they're a tough out for really anyone because, like you said, they're 9 times out of 10, you're getting at least 18, or you're getting 18 points out of Shaw, Marlowe, and Turk against a lot of teams.
And as we're kind of diving into the team tournament, I mean, or the team, not tournament, but the team side of things I mean, we had an upset this week. North Allegheny losing to Canon-Mac, I don't think was really on anyone's radar.
No, it wasn't on mine. I mean, you and I were doing our live show, and we had seen the result that happened. It was the kind of that weird Tuesday duel that the Wpial has every now and then, and Canon-Mac ended up beating them. And you and I were both like, "What?" Nothing against Canon-Mac, but
no,
we had seen them lose.
Just the way they've wrestled this year. I mean, they wrestled at the Hampton Duels. They took a couple tough losses there, but they go out and beat North Allegheny 33-30. Now, big note, obviously, Buggy was out of this match, so that's Kellen Buggy was out of the match, so that's a note. But at the same time, 3 points is 3 points in a team match. I mean, if they wrestle again, it sounds like it's another coin flip style match, which creates for the parity of the the not necessarily maybe the top 2 or 3, but I could definitely see a dogfight for the 3-4 spot in the.
And I think that's a word you and I have used more than any word the past year. It's parity.
Yep.
And I feel like this year in the AAA aspect of teams is just like last year and the year before. A ton of parity. What was it 2 years ago when Hempfield went on that run and took third? They took third in their section, but then they go and like that year, you and I were picking our brackets, and we were like, shit, I don't know. It was just like, I think I had Latrobe winning it. And is that the year that Norwin beat them in like the quarterfinals or something?
Might have been.
It was just weird.
And that was the year. I mean, it was after Waynesburg dominant run.
It was right after the Waynesburg like 4 or 5 year dominant run.
Right.
And it just
it did, man. And there was like, I think we even said like 8 teams could make it, or 10 teams can make it, 6 teams could win. I mean, I've said it all year. I mean, my pick is Connellsville to win the Wpial tournament. The Wpial team tournament's been that way all year. I don't think it's going to change. Just the depth they have, and they don't have any like mega superstars, but every single one of them. I mean,
there's no holes
with
in that
respect
lineup.
With respect to Mr. Vilma, Mr. Petrovich, the guys that they have down low, they're all they're stars, and that's what makes just a fantastic team. They don't have a weak point anywhere in their lineup, which that's why for me they're just top tier on the AAA side of things.
Christ, their 21 pounders wrestled in the finals down in West Virginia over the weekend.
Exactly.
I mean, it's going to be exciting, and I would agree with you. I think right now Connellsville's the team to beat. But I won't count out of Franklin. I won't count out of Bethel Park. And I got to see more. Haven't seen enough yet of some of these other teams, but I'm sure another team will emerge and be like, okay, they're a tough out for anyone.
I think Norwin's sneaky this year too.
Yes.
And Mac, you know what I mean? They're kind of, and they're just a team that's been kind of like on that meteoric rise, just kind of slowly grinding their way towards where they need to be. And now on the AA side of things, you touched on it a little bit on the opening, but holy shit, dude, what a toll that happened in the AK Valley this weekend.
That was – I had texted you right after, and I said, best duel I've seen in 10 years.
Yep.
And it could have been heat of the moment, prisoner of the moment, because it was that good. But looking back, I actually just had a conversation with somebody about some of the best duels I've seen in the past 10 years, and this one's right there. I mean, it had absolutely everything. It was – whether you're a Burl fan, whether you're a Kiski fan, just go as an unbiased wrestling fan, you'd be like, oh, my God. Like, that's what high school wrestling is about. That's what Western Pennsylvania is about. And it hit on all cylinders. It was awesome. You can hear Smitty and George up in a bird's nest just screaming, going nuts. It was phenomenal. Now, credit to both teams.
Of course. Credit to both teams. And like you said, they kind of did a whole wrestling fest. And I think that is a credit to both programs. Now, we're going to have Coach Ancini on, the winner of the duel, here in just a minute. But man, for them to put the whole day of wrestling together, and these are two teams that don't have to duel each other. They're AAA and AA. They don't necessarily have to put each other on the schedule, but they look for that competition, man. And it's I love it. I experienced my first one last year with Mr. Joey McCara. I'm excited to get down into it, but man, I just where I heard it was going to start at, I'm like, it could be problems, right? Just for where Burrow's at to sustain the wave that what it was. I mean, Kaz, you were there. You could speak more of it. What before we even bring Coach on, what was your side of things? What did you think was in the vibe in the gym, I should say?
The vibe was crazy because right before that, Burl and Kiski women wrestled each other. The match went to criteria. They tied and went to criteria. So you had the women wrestle. Kiski ended up winning on criteria. I think it was 37-36 on criteria. And then the boys wrestling, it was nuts. The atmosphere was great for the women's match too. It was really good for the women's match. Great crowd, energetic. It was awesome. But once the duel started at 172, and everyone knows if starting at 172, you're going to see Kiski's guy right away. In Hutcherson, Mario Hutcherson, the freshman, we all know who he is. He's one of the best in the country. And it was cool to see him. This is his first big high school match, so to speak, as a duel. I mean, he's wrestled on the biggest stage, but at the high school level, even the Burl freshman. All right, freshman, here you go. Here's the Burl Kiski match, because there's a lot that leads up to it being kind of a part of that rivalry growing up. It's a big thing, and it means a lot to a lot of people in both communities. So I liked seeing how kind of the freshmen adapt and handle that in that situation, because, I mean, Burl was counting on freshmen on Saturday, and so was Kiski. And it was cool to see, and it was just out of bounds good in that match.
Man, you spoke a lot of good words there. Just the way they put it all together, and I agree with pretty much everything you said there. And I'm excited to hear the winning side of it. Let's bring him on. What do you think there, Cass?
Let's do that.
All right. Joining us now on the call, head coach of Burl Area School District, Mr. Steve Ancini. How are you, sir?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well.
Great.
Very good indeed. Thank you so much for coming on, Coach.
No
First
problem.
things first, congratulations on the win in the AK Valley there, my friend.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. Just trying to keep it alive and keep it going.
Talk about that, man. Just keeping it alive, keeping it going. Talk about the rivalry. Talk about, Kaz broke it down a little bit there. He was part of it. You're now, a coach of it. You've been a part of it for years, of course, but, new role, head coach, crazy duel. We're going to break it down here in just a minute, but just talk about the AK Valley rivalry.
Well, it's a big rivalry. I mean, I've been part of it for about 10 years since I've been at Burrow. And, every year they get excited about it. They're talking about it for weeks. It's bragging rights. I mean, this is in this area, you have two major schools, two powerhouses within 15 minutes of each other. And, there's something special when, to be able to brag about beating each other.
So
go ahead, Cass.
So once the duel started, obviously it started out at 172, went in Kiski's favor. Kiski jumps out to a 33-0 lead. And, I noticed at that point, you and a couple of the coaches had rallied the remaining wrestlers together, gave them a little separate pep talk. What was the message you sent to those guys? Because whatever it was, it worked because you rattled off 7 in a row in one, what I would say is the best duel I've watched in 10 years.
We basically, when I went back to, after the their Kiski's pinning at 114, just walked back and said, I just went to him and go, now it starts. I said, now it starts, because right now I know those guys are all capable of winning big matches, and they were confident. The best thing I think I really appreciate about our team was that they didn't lose hope. They believed in themselves. And those 7 guys right there, they believed that they're going to win this match. There was no look of fear or any strain on any of those faces. They were like nodding their heads like, yeah, let's go. It's on now. And, I believed in them, and they believed in themselves.
Coach, for me, when I heard that it was starting at 172, and, it's no secret, Kiski's lineup up top they're nice. They got hammer after hammer after hammer. And right off the rip, you guys, you wrestle one of the best dudes in the country. Now, how does that work? Did you guys pull that out of the hat? Where was that decision made? Because that's where I'm curious.
Well, the decision was made pretty much maybe the night before where we were going to put him. We went back and forth, after practice, and we decided to, try to avoid Hutcherson at 72, and what we did worked. And we were hoping. Basically, I thought that maybe they think, if we wait him in at 72, that we're counting on the coin flip. Well, that wasn't our plan. It was to avoid. It's just it's a strategy that it's a team sport at this point in the game, yep. And the strategy worked.
You mentioned the coin flip. Now, Kiski won the coin flip, and I know some coaches don't put a ton into it. Some do with the flip. At the end of the day, you got to go out and wrestle. Yeah. How much did the coin flip, whether it was in your favor or out of your favor, how much did you think that would impact the duel, if any?
To be honest, really not that much, because we already had a game plan in the works, and so it was just, if they send somebody else out, we were going to send this guy out, and if they sent Hutcherson out, then we were, and we're going to send another guy out, and the way it worked, because we actually weighed in Isaac a little heavy, so worked out well.
So when you hit that stretch of 7 guys, one match in particular I kind of looked at as maybe the turning point, the swing of that, and it's the 33-pound match between Stewart and DeLuca at 33. Kiski had bumped DeLuca up,
right,
and Stewart ends up winning in sudden victory. Looking at that now, in hindsight, it's like that. That's the match right there. It comes down to that. Talk about that effort out of Stewart in that situation.
To be honest, I didn't think that match should have gone into overtime. I think Stewart got a little high. He threw his boots in, got a little high, got reversed. I think if he would have just settled in on those legs a little bit more, he wouldn't have gotten reversed. I do like the fact that he kind of baited him into a shot, and was able to step over like a little dump. I think DeLuca was trying to go for a little dump, and Jake's pretty good at defending those dumps, and he's got some legs on him. He's just, he's got great hips, and basically put the Luke on his back at the end of the match with that. But the like I said, he was, again, one of those guys that he didn't give up hope. In fact, he was really fired. He was the first one there in the morning when I got to the gym. I got there about 10 o'clock just for guys to check weight. He was sitting there. He's waited. He was ready to go. And he had that look on his face that he was not going to be denied. And, in the match, as the match went, he wasn't denied.
And how proud were you of Ben Catullo? It's going into the last match. You guys are down 3 at that point. Pressure's on. That pressure's on at that point.
Absolutely, the pressure's on, but all the faith in the world. All had no doubt Ben was. I had no doubt he was going to win. In fact, I really thought that he would pin him, but just because we had a match on Wednesday that Ben didn't really wrestle that well against Cheney Lewis from the Neighborhood Academy, and we talked to him, and he had that look. He was ready. I mean, he came out with a face that was like you knew he was going to take it to him. And I'm not worried about his conditioning. Ben works so hard in the room. His conditioning, and that's the whole idea was, pretty much to take him down, cut him. I love the 3-point rule now. It just works in our favor because of conditioning. On our feet, we can break a lot of people, and Ben's kept that pace up really high. And you could see in the match later as they're wrestling, the guy that Ben was wrestling kind of trying to stall it out because it was the scores was going up, and he just put 2 hands on one hand, trying to hold him. And, we had to clear that tie, and Ben just front it, snapping him down, snap and spin, snap, spin. And, something that I've always stressed the fact that, it's like we do speed drills, that constant drilling, you got so much time to do these many shots, this technique, and it works on your conditioning. I had all the faith in the world that Ben was going to, beat this guy. I could breathe.
So, Coach, you go and beat from what a lot of people consider one of the top AAA Wpial teams. Where do you think you stack up on the AA side of things? Obviously, you're taking over a program that has, a little bit of tradition in winning. Where do you see yourself stacking up?
Well, I think we have a great team. We placed third at the Cumberland Valley tournament 2 weeks ago, and the only team we had one double. There was only 2 AA teams in the tournament. That was McDevitt and us, and we finished behind McDevitt and Nazareth. And there were probably 3 or 4 teams or 4 teams in there that were AAA state qualifying dual teams, and we did pretty well. I mean, so in a AA, it's going the AA. It's kind of hard when you have McDevitt, you have Faith Christian Academy, you have.
I'd argue AA is almost harder than AAA this year. I made that argument.
Absolutely.
I'm going to stand on that argument, honestly.
Absolutely.
I said it yesterday to someone. It's tougher to win AA.
Yeah, you have the number 1 and 2 teams in the country of all teams in the country in AA.
Faith won Ironman.
Yeah, and I don't know where McDevitt's ranked in the nation. I'm not sure, but I know there are at least 3 in the state of PA. So you have number 1 and 2 in AA in Pennsylvania, which are the number 1 and 2 in the country. So stacking up, and not to be, how would I say?
I was more talking Wpial. State's a different level.
Okay, yeah. Well, see, we set our sights a little high. We always set our sights.
I love that, though. I love it.
That's our That's what we strive for. In the AAA, again, when I spoke to before on the podcast, our goal is to win a title again.
Yep.
And and we want to do it in dominating fashion. But again, it's all about health, staying healthy, and and they keep a mindset because it is a long, grueling season. We still have Bedford. We have the Brookville duels coming up, and got Powerade this week. So, hopefully, we stay healthy and everybody's, keeps a strong mindset. And I think we'll be okay.
So what's the week look like for you guys? Now, you wrestled a Saturday duel, so a short week starting on Monday, throw in Christmas middle of the week, and then you have, Powerade Friday, Saturday. What's the week look like for you guys from a training aspect?
We went really hard today. We went really hard today. Tomorrow we're going really hard again. Christmas Day, we have a day off. Come back on the 26th. We'll probably, a lot of weight maintenance, a lot of chain wrestling, constant motion, just putting everything together, not just hitting one, just chain wrestling. And we'll get ready for Powerade. And, that's good. That Powerade is going to be it's a heck of a tournament.
What's your message to the guys? I mean, you're hitting your stride on this part of the schedule. You just wrestled Kiski. You're going to Powerade. Brookfield Duels, like you said, are not too far away, and that's a big measuring stick to where you see with some of the best teams in Double A. What's your message to the team right now?
Stay focused. I said put the Kiski match behind you. Don't just dwell on that, and that's over with. Let's start getting focused and get ready for Power. But then once we hit January, that's when everything starts kicking in. We just got to keep staying focused, tighten up our technique, keep the conditioning going, and get ready for the end of the season in about a month, pretty much.
And just to backtrack a little bit, you mentioned the 3-point takedown. I love asking coaches how they like it. And I know, Steve, you and I spoke on the Westmoreland kickoff show about it a little bit. So you are definitely a fan of the 3-point takedown.
Yeah, I am. I'm a fan of it. It just first of all, it keeps things going. It keeps, if somebody's down, it just brings you back in a match. I think it brings more excitement.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think it, escape, take down, next, that's 4 points. You're down by 4. Before it used to be, escape, you work your butt off to take them down. You're still down a point. Here you tie it up, and then we go from there. I'm a big fan of it.
Does it change the way you coach and practice at all? Like, does it change?
No, be greedy on your points. Be greedy on your points. Get those takedowns. A takedown's a takedown, right? We just want to, if it was just 2 points, we're just being greedy on our points. Get those takedowns.
Coach, last thing I got for you before I kind of leave you go. I was talking to someone about your duel in particular, and being down 33-0. They said that they have never seen anything like that in a duel before. They've never seen anything like that. How do you put yourself in that position, and how do you how do the kids kind of respond? That's just incredible stuff.
Well, that's not the first time it's happened to me before. When I coached at Valley, we were down like 30 points against Hampton one year. And we ended up winning the rest of the matches and ended up beating Hampton by a couple points. So it's like, it's not exactly new, but in that case, we didn't panic and I didn't panic. To be honest, I was not worried. I really wasn't worried. I had all the faith in the world in our guys. I really did. Just, you could tell by the look in their eyes, and because you could tell sometimes when they're wrestling, you look over to the bench and guys are slumping, or our guys were clapping, they were cheering guys on. They were, and as soon as Vinny Guarini lost his match, he's a first year kid, but he still works hard. They went to the back, and I came back and said, now it's on, let's go. It's on. And they responded, and yeah.
Good
You have to believe in your guys, and they have to believe in us, and they have to believe in the coaching aspect, the training they get. And I knew, these guys were fired up, and hey, they took it to them. And I'm glad that it worked out, and I'm glad that it was something not a lot of people see. And it shows you, it doesn't matter the score. It's not how you start. It is absolutely how you finish a match. You could be, individually, team wise, it's not over to the whistle. It's not over till it's over.
Right.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Absolutely.
Coach. Marky, you have anything for Coach before we leave him go?
I'm good. Congratulations, and we'll see you at Powerade. Best of luck there.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate being on the cast.
Thanks, man. Good luck the rest of the season.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We almost forgot it. We almost forgot about that.
That would have been wild. Thanks,
right,
Coach. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, and that was head coach of Borough Area School District, Mr. Steve Mancini. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Now, we have to give a little thanks to our sponsors. First things first, you see them up in the right-hand corner. He's been on my show. I've had a few of the guys on the show, it being Mac McGuire, it being Rob Walco, and the main man, Mr. Jim Akerley, the living legend. Thank you so much, Quest School of Wrestling, for supporting Near Falls in the Wpial and Near Falls with D Hall. We really appreciate it. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Go see him at questschoolofwrestling.com. They have practices all during the week, all different levels of skill out there at Cannonsburg, PA. So again, Quest School of Wrestling, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Next sponsor we have is Smitty's Carpet Corner. Again, not to be confused with the Westmoreland County Smitty. This is Smitty of Steubenville, Ohio. The Cooper Smith's dad, you might remember from West Allegheny a few years ago, who's doing big things over there in Steubenville, Ohio. But let's play a little infomercial for him. Of course, he is the Carpet Corner guy, the beautiful red and black mats, or I'm sorry, red and green mats rather, that you see in the corners.
You've seen us at the Ironman, you've seen us at the Powerade, you've seen us at Flow Nationals, U.S. Open, Olympic trials, you name it, we've been there. Get a set of corner rugs today. Do what the man told you. Go to smittyscornerrugs.com.
All right. So that was our main man, Smitty. Thank you so much, Mike Smith. Appreciate you over at Smitty's Carpet Corner, smittyscarpetcorners.com. They are the best in the business. You know, you pay all this money for these beautiful mats, Kaz, and it's like, yeah, man, you got to take care of them. And it's a no-brainer. It's just a beautiful, and it really classes up your event. It's a no-brainer for these not only clubs, but also high school,
There's a reason all the biggest and best tournaments in the country and world use them.
I was thinking high school association, high school teams, things of that nature. But yes, there's a reason why Smitty is all over the world. So thank you, Mr. Smitty, Mr. Mike Smith over at Smitty's Carpet Corners. We appreciate you. And the last sponsor we have over at D1 Wrestling Club. They are right down south of TJ there, Kaz. They are one of the new wrestling clubs that are coming into the fold here in the Pittsburgh area. That's James Fleming. You might remember from West Mifflin Monster, of course, just mean as hell and just amazing wrestler. He's starting his own club, and they have a bunch of great guys. Not starting, he's been doing it for a little while now, but he reached out to me about sponsoring the show. So that is d1wrestling.com. Go on their website, check them out. And some of the best guys in the Wpial are training down there. I know Mr. Marlowe is training down there. I know Ramil Islamov is training down there. So, in the new world that we see, it seems like guys kind of like to train all over the place. So that could be a new outlet to go check out.
Yeah. Fleming, funny story about Fleming. I was in sixth or seventh grade, and we had gone to a wrestling tournament, and not a lot of kids, there was bad weather, so not a lot of kids showed up to it. So I ended up getting there, and my bracket had ended up being a 4-man round robin because everyone had backed out. It was me, James Fleming, who wrestled at Clarion's, phenomenal, Nick Bonacorsi, national, caliber wrestler out of Pitt, and Jake Kemmer from Hempfield, multiple time state champ. I'm like, well, Dad, got my work cut out for me today. Let's go have some fun.
Oh my good. Yeah, that's a tough go there, buddy.
We could say I was the odd man out in that round.
I had you pegged for third or second there, buddy. Oh man, that's good. That's a great story. So yeah, again, thank you for James Fleming for sponsoring the show. The man, the myth, just one of the best to suited up in the Wpial. Okay, joining me now on the call, we have Norwin area sophomore, newly minted Beast of the East champion, Mr. Landon Siddon. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing really good indeed. Thank you so much for coming on the show, taking some time out, man. I appreciate it. I see you sporting a little shirt there. What you got going on? They give that to you. That's nice.
Yeah, they gave like the champions code. It's really nice.
Yeah, man, nice swag. So I guess let's just run right into it. Talk about your weekend, man. One of the best tournaments in the country. You found your way through and was able to come out on top, beating some of the best dudes in the country. Just talk about your weekend.
Always know Beast is gonna be tough, so you're always just preparing for all those good guys. So really, just had to be alert, stay on edge, to be ready for all those tough guys.
How do you continue to keep your level up for these tournaments? I mean, you did well at Powerade last year. You have Powerade right around the corner this year. You obviously just did well at Beast. You seem to shine the best whenever the lights are the brightest. So, just how do you keep that mindset and wrestle so well?
To me, they're just tournaments now from all the stuff we do, like all the freestyle stuff, going out wrestling in Vegas, wrestling in Fargo Dome. But also it helps is just being confident. All these guys you're gonna I seen all these kids when we're growing up wrestling, so now just wrestling them on the high school stage, it's pretty awesome. But what I don't get like nervous on this because I'm more excited to wrestle in those big events like BCD, seeing like I seen all the results from like when I was in middle school. Like I can't wait to get there and wrestle in it. So I'm happy to be there.
You spoke about confidence. Where do you find that confidence? Where do you find that ability to, have belief in yourself?
Um, all the practices we do, like I've been in all those situations that's gonna happen in the matches out there. So nothing really when happens out there like shocks me. So just always well prepared.
Love that. So let's talk about your coaching staff, man. You're over at Norwin, one of the best coaching staffs in the biz, and you got Coach Kyle Martin, you got Coach King there. Just talk about the coaches putting you in the right mindset and the right spots.
It's awesome. They're great. They find the best competition in the country. Our schedule is, I think, second to none. Like we're going,
buddy. You guys got a meat grinder of a schedule. I talked to Coach Martin about it. I'm like, they better be ready to go. I mean, it's no joke.
Yeah. So I feel like they give you all the opportunities to get better. Like we aren't like all this is preparing you for March at state. So all these tournaments, it's going to make the state seem smaller. That it's smaller than like Beast and stuff, but it's getting you very well prepared for everything. That's what I found that our coaching staff's helped a lot with.
Okay, last couple questions I have for you. A little bit different. I mean, you guys had a great team last year, but it seems like this team's got some juice, Landon. I mean, you guys really could be something special. You go out and beat Cannon Mac early in the year, Cannon Mac just went out and beat North Allegheny. Just talk about this team and the hopes to get to maybe a state tournament, not in Hershey anymore, but rather Altoona.
That's been that's what everyone's goal is. We want to be out there. It's team states. Everybody's bought into it. Everyone's on the same page. Like that's all we want is the team. Everyone will sacrifice and do what they need to do their part so our team can make it there. But everyone's in the practice room battling every day. So it's just all good things going on right now.
So are you one of those guys pushing your teammates? Are you leading by example? What's your kind of role in the wrestling room?
I'm more an example. I don't talk that much. I'm just head down working.
Nice, man. Nice. So you getting in on them room games? I heard Coach. I mean, he says he dominates all those. I mean, is this the truth now?
Yeah, I'm one of the worst. I'm always first one out in dodgeball and all the games. I feel like I get tagged on though. Like everyone comes right at me right away.
Yeah, they got to get the best guy out, right?
No, I'm not even the best guy, so I just get out right away.
No, I hear you. Well, you got to get your game up there, buddy. But the big game for you is wrestling, which I love. Talk to me about how you continue this mindset that you're going into Powerade, right? And Powerade was a tournament you did really well at last year. but man, you're going to see a lot of the same competition, some of the best guys in the nation. Just how do you keep, one weekend right into the next?
It's just you just got to keep flowing. You can't like dwell on things like, oh, this weekend's gonna be hard. So excited we get the wrestle Powerade. 40 minutes from here.
Awesome, good mindset.
But like seeing all like. I went there every year in middle school. I said this last year, like going to watch them and stuff, like all excited. So I'm just excited I get to experience that, like what everyone has done. So Powerade's awesome. Like that's what I'm just happy to be there and wrestle in it.
All right, man. Give me your, obviously I kind of know some of your goals. I'm sure they're high, but give me your goals, man. Like, where do you see yourself 1 year from today? Like, what are your goals and how do you see yourself growing?
I want to get that state title again. That's huge to me, but I'm really looking forward to. Really haven't thought like a year out from now what I want to be doing, but I'm focused on all these tournaments we got to, like training up to get to Hershey. Say the main focus is getting ready and prepared for Hershey though right now.
Got you. Try to get that next state title. Good
Yeah.
stuff. All right, my man. Landon, do you have anything else for me before I leave you go?
Oh, that's all. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck this weekend over there at Cannon Mac. We will be watching. Appreciate you.
Bye.
My man. All right, Kaz, that was a little bit better. We're getting better with the sponsors. We're not typically sponsors, guys, but we had to expand our wings a little bit, get out there, but
we're not Dan Flickinger, but we're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. Flick, he casts that net wide and far. You know what I mean? We just we do our thing. So, but no, all jokes aside, again, thank you guys so much. And so, Kaz, man, I think the next thing we can get into, and it kind of leans into what we've been talking about tonight with the teams and, how it kind of is all going to be shaped out. That Nurse Pro tournament down in the University, what is it? The University High, West Virginia.
It's right down there in Morgantown. I believe it's right outside of Morgantown.
Man, there was there was a couple really, really good Wpial teams there. I mean, Franklin Regional, Connellsville, Trinity, 3, I would say, of the best top 7-6 teams. Fort Cherry was there. They have a couple of great individuals. But
Fraser
of course, yeah, yep, of course. And I don't know, where do you want to start? I guess we can kind of just start at the top, and a lot of this we're going to get into it. You see a lot of like Connellsville, which versus Franklin Regional, which is, for some people's money, 2 of the top 3-4 teams in the Wpial. What do you think, Kaz?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it multiple times. I think Franklin and Connellsville are 2 of the top 4 teams in AAA right now, kind of in any order. I mean, I have said Connellsville's the team to beat right now, but Franklin's one of those short list of teams that I think are in the mix to contend with them and possibly beat them. And we saw a lot of matchups between those schools wrestlers over the weekend, particularly in the finals. I mean, both teams finished very well in the team race. And it started right at 106. Now, some of these weight classes are a little different because it's it's West Virginia, so the weight classes are different from PA. But at 106, it started right there. Tommy Gretz, 2 freshmen. Tommy Gretz out of Connellsville ends up winning the title, and he beats Bo Fennick from Franklin Regional in the finals. And I believe they're the top 2 ranked guys in Wpial at 107. So there's a big match right there, right out of the gate.
And an 8-0 major decision. So, you look at when we get down into the team points and the team tournament, every little point. I was describing this to someone. I forget who I was talking to, but it was a guy at work actually. Just kind of, he's new to wrestling. His kids are just getting into it, and he's like, how's a duel work? And I'm like, man, just because you're not the top guy doesn't mean you're not important to a duel. You know what I mean? Like every single person has a role in a duel, and that's why I feel like duels are so much fun, because even in a loss, you can still do big things for your team. And it being a major here, that's kind of, a bonus point victory for the Connellsville guy there. and it's just impressive start for Mr. Gretz. But like you said, 2 freshmen, that probably will see each other for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there with the little bonus point. How big 1 point can mean in a duel, especially with 2 good teams. How many times you see duels that come down to 1, 2, or 3 points? Every point matters, and we saw it Saturday. We saw it with the Northampton. Who was it? Northampton and like Nazareth on Wednesday or Tuesday. It came down. It's every point matters. Never stop scoring. Don't settle. It was huge, and I think that's a nice little momentum that Connellsville, or at least Tommy Gretz, can take in heading into Powerade and moving forward against Franklin if they are to duel in, let's say, the finals, the semis, wherever it may be.
I mean, so you moved on to the next weight class. Titus Colangelo takes second for Franklin Regional, and I lost to a kid out of university, but impressive stuff. And 2 guys right off the bat there for Franklin Regional. You like to see. It seems like a lot of these top schools, they have kind of waves. You know what I mean? Kiski has the wave at the end of their lineup. Franklin Regional, they got a couple lighter guys. So does Connellsville. I mean, of course, Connellsville, you go up to the next weight class, and 120 pounds, Nolan Rice and Zachary Franks wrestled in the finals.
Yeah.
Well, they not wrestled, but they were in the finals.
They were in the finals, and it
Right.
was a forfeit win. I get it. You don't want your guys to rest. I completely get it. Yeah, I mean, they have 2 120-pounders, which my guess is in 90% of duels, they're both wrestling. Someone's bumping up, obviously. But that shows the quality that they have in their lightweights. I mean, they're in a tough tournament with these teams, and shit, their 2 guys go to the finals, which was who? Nolan Rice and Zach Franks. Franks was a starter both of them were starters last year.
And not to glaze over, Landon Lynn did take third at 113 pounds. So just, they're both schools very, very deep at the lighter weights.
So Connellsville had a champ at 106, third at 113, and the first and second guy at 120.
Correct.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad.
I would love. Wouldn't
you think all them, them farm boys out there, they'd be a little bigger. They got so many little guys.
I know they got all them. Swank. I tell you what, Coach Swank he's got himself a team in those light guys, and I he's having fun with it too.
Oh yeah, he loves that, and he even said like on the preview, we kind of let him figure it out, and he did the same thing last year, and it's it's kind of he plays his cards with it, and like any coach did, like we just talked to Coach Ancini, they have a game plan for all situations, so it's good to have multiple options at the lighter weights. Or at any weight class, but going down the rest of the lineup or the rest of the weights here, you go up to 126. Man, Dom Canali from Trinity, a guy that we've seen be right there over the course of the years, really looks good early in the year. Gets a tech fall victory, 20-4 in the finals at 126 pounds.
Yeah, and then at 132, you have another one of them Connellsville Franklin matchups. Jake Lilly of Connellsville ends up winning it. At 132, he beat Mikey Ruane, the sophomore out of Franklin, who was the runner-up. I don't have the score in front of me.
16-3. 16-3, Cass. Yep.
So there's 2 head-to-heads between Franklin and Franklin and Connellsville right there. And I don't know if Colangelo and Lynn had met in the tournament, but there's a decent chance they've taken second or third, possibly a semis or.
And you go down to the next one. I mean, the next weight class at 138 pounds, Kai Vioma, which is, he's one of those rising superstars for Connellsville. Pinned Nico Sarnich in 48 seconds. Just he's going to be one of those dudes. It's just going to be a problem for Connellsville this year. Yeah,
very good. And then at 144, kind of a newer weight class to the local wrestling fans out there. 144, TJ Allison of Trinity ended up being the runner-up in that weight class. Who he wrestled?
TJ Allison wrestled a kid from East Fairmont, Blake Ringer, it says here. Okay. But, I mean, at 144 pounds, the didn't really have any runner-ups, but also Carson Garba from Trinity took fourth. Chase Sparks from Connellsville took fourth at 132 pounds. Gerba for 138 pounds. So, it's good to see a bunch of Wpial, well, not a bunch, but these three, really high level AAA Wpial teams do damage in a different state.
And then at 157, you had another Wpial finals matchup.
Yep.
Little double A, triple A.
And, I think Frazier's one of those teams led by Tyler Kenny, the former Connellsville guy. They're sneaky, man. They've have now quickly, tradition and some guys that have done it, right? So you look at these programs and it's like, you grew up watching some of the best dudes at Burrell win championships, right? And you want to do that. And it's the same thing with these kids at Frazier. So it's good to see them have a continuing string of good guys. But yeah, go ahead and get into the next.
And Erdley won I missed a weight here. Jonah Erdley won the title at
150 pounds. Yep.
Out of Frazier. And then at 157, his teammate, Ryan Salashi, was the runner up at 157, and he had lost to Petrovic from Connellsville, which is obviously no joke of a wrestler. I mean, that's not what I would say I wouldn't call that a bad loss. I mean,
one of the best dudes going to
pit. Yeah, he's going to pit for a reason.
Yep.
So you got to see a Wpial matchup there.
And a guy in Petrovic, I feel like he's one of those dudes that has been in high school for like 6 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like just one of those names that has been there, won so many matches for Connellsville. And I feel like this is the year that he's just kind of putting it all together. And it really looks like it by his results.
He's at 157. You remember 4 years ago when he was a freshman and he was at 107 or 113 and he's like 5'10". And we're like, how in God's name is this kid making that weight? And I remember you saying like, he'll be a 60-pounder by the time he's a senior. And look where he's at. You and I both said it's the biggest 107, 113-pounder we've ever seen.
He was huge. I mean, yeah. And it seems like Connellsville, like we, as much as we joke they have a bunch of lighter guys, it seems like, as the dudes get bigger, they find a way to put on size, put on strength, and, really I've never seen a Connellsville lineup where they've had an open spot anywhere. So They find a way to make it work some way or another. But yeah, and you go down the next little bit, and it's like we talked about, Lonzy Vioma, another guy that I feel like has been around forever. Gets a major decision at 165 pounds in the finals. He's just continue rolling. Those two, for the middleweights, there might not be a better 1-2 punch in the Wpial.
No, and think of who they practice. They practice with each other every day. I mean, they're only getting better and better. They've both gotten better and better through their career from the time they were freshmen till now, and they've always kind of been like a weight apart. Like their parents have them on the same diet and weight plan in the off season.
For sure.
But that's beneficial too. I mean, having a practice partner around your weight that's at the level you are, that's huge. And Connellsville clearly is benefiting from that, as are those two, which is good to see. And then at 175, we had another champ, Jackson Angelo, out of Frazier, won the title there.
Yeah, and another guy that these guys that they've been on the scene. They wrestled for different club duels and stuff. So you've seen both of them wrestle for All-American and things of that nature. So both guys that they can bring it, and Coach Kenny has no short of intensity. My man gives it in bunches. So I love that. Yeah, he's great. He's awesome, man, and I think he's a perfect fit for that program out there, and kind of has that small school like chip on your shoulder type of vibe. So, yeah, man, I love what he brings. So, and speaking of small schools, you move down the list. Braden Welsh, a guy that just continues to do great things and moving up weight class by weight class, but it doesn't seem to matter. He wrestles like a lightweight at 190 pounds, gets the championship in the decision 8-1.
Yeah, great effort out of him. Another kid that's kind of gotten bigger and bigger. I mean, everyone's getting bigger, but once he came in as a freshman till now, he fills out that 190, well, which was nice for him. It really didn't change his weight from his normal Pennsylvania weights. I mean, he's been wrestling 189 So he's right there. It didn't mess with his weight at all going into that, and he's filled that weight class out nice. He's got that big long frame on him, fun to watch. So credit to him for going down there and handling business.
No doubt. All right, Cass, where do you want to pivot to? I guess we got to talk about King of the Mountain.
Yeah, go to King of the Mountain. We briefly talked about Beast of the East earlier. There were only 2 Wpial teams there.
Right.
So we'll briefly hit on that after, and then tell you what else we got in store.
Well, yeah, like we talked about that just a little bit, but King of the Mountain was really the next big one, I would say, for the Wpial. How many schools were out there, Kaz, for the Wpial? I'm looking it up.
You had Cannon, Max, Shaler, Latrobe,
Yep.
West Allegheny, Bethel Park. I think those were the 5.
Right.
I think there were
Sure
5.
we didn't miss anything. Yep. You're right. So we had Latrobe take 6. They scored 116 points. The next one in for the Wpial was Bethel Park at 16. Cannon Mac at 19. West Allegheny at 22. Shaler at 24. And that was it. So, you run down this, and this is one of those tournaments, I think, I don't know if it's, won't necessarily happen this year, but I think in years future, we might see a lot of Wpial teams sneak in this tournament because it gives you a great look of what is the West Regional down the line.
Absolutely. That's a great point. You're going to see more teams because there are some teams that are going to fall into this West Regional in AAA that are at this tournament and getting a little more familiar with those teams. I think it's huge, and I agree with you. I think next year or so you're going to see more teams enter it. I would say more AAA teams, just
100%.
because of how the postseason sets up. There's been AA teams. I know Burl used to go here. Franklin used to go here.
No, but I think your point is well taken that it's going to be mainly AAA teams because of the new West Regional. You're going to see teams like Central Mountain. You're going to see Altoona. You're going to see State College, Mifflin County. You're going to see all these teams in the West Regional. And, you got to figure out how to get through those squads to get to the state tournament. So,
I think that's a great point. I fully expect to see more next year.
For sure.
Especially those teams that have the lineups that they expect to get multiple kids there, or at least have the aspirations to get multiple kids there in a reality way. But credit to these 5 teams. I thought the Wpial had a really good showing at King of the Mountain. I thought they did. We have all the placers right here. They had a shit ton of placers. So
why don't we just break it down?
Let's
go right into 107 pounds. I guess we'll go start to top to bottom. Shaler Cat, stud, Mr. Anthony Jones goes out and gets the dub, 107 pounds.
Yeah. Look, I caught one of his matches. I think it was his semis match. I went back and watched. Looks really good. Good size 107 pounder, to say the least. Really good size 107. And all I kept thinking was, oh, shit, dude, 107 is going to be fun. In the Wpial, you got this kid. You got my Fennec and, my man from Connellsville Gretz. It's going to be a fun weight class seeing how this pans out. And there's other names too. But you got 3 hammers right there that are going to make it interesting. And he wrestled a heck of a tournament. He's only a sophomore. He went out and he handled business in one of the better tournaments that Pennsylvania has every year.
Yeah, and it's just 107 is always one of those weight classes, especially in the Wpial, that it just seems like it's so deep. There's probably 15 kids right now sitting at home that think they have a really good chance to make the state tournament in the Wpial at 107.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Johnson from West A. I know you're super close with him. His dad's one of your first wrestling coaches. He took third. He took third out there. He's in the mix. The AAA 107 is really good.
Yep. Yeah, it's good, man. And there's a lot of and a lot of them are freshmen. And then the sophomores, their sophomores are really good too. Anthony Jones is a sophomore. The Was it Riley Smith from Seneca Valley is a sophomore. I mean, these guys, it's a pretty deep weight class there at 107 pounds for the Wpial.
Latrobe has a 107 pounder, a freshman who took 5th.
Oh, he's very good. I watched him at the Hickory tournament. He's
Yeah.
real good.
Kai
What's
Maxwell.
his name?
Kai
Yes.
Maxwell took 5th out at King of the Mountain.
I was just going to say, where did he finish? He's tough
Yeah.
as nails, too.
Yeah, that 107 is going to be fun.
Agreed. 100%. Okay. Let's move on to 114 pounds. We didn't really have too much juice there.
121, we had a placer.
Brody Bronson from Greater Latrobe placed 6th.
6
It
of
looks
14,
like.
yes.
Yep, at 14. Okay, so 121 pounds. We had
Pierce Reinhardt
yep,
of Bethel took 7th at 121.
And Bethel Park, you look down their team, and I would say they're another one of those teams that they lost some of their best wrestlers. They lost 2 state qualifiers, right? And one of them went to West Virginia and was one of their best wrestlers in quite some time, in Kernan. But they're still. I don't know, dude. Are they better than they were last year?
Yeah, I think they are. But it's so tough because Corden McDonough and
Kernan.
Kernan.
Yeah, sorry. I almost forgot it too, so don't forget. Don't feel
Kernan
bad.
were so good for them for so long.
A lot of points.
But and Coach Nauman said it last week on a thing. He goes, I have all my guys back. He goes, but you got to figure they're all better versions of themselves. He goes, I got 11 to 13 guys back, but those 11 I have back, it's not the 11 I had last year. It's a better version of the 11 I had last year, at least from a starter standpoint, which when you look at it from that, you're like, yeah, they're good. So yeah, I would say they're on paper and right now, I would say they're a better team this year than they were last year, and they were a damn good team last year.
Agreed. I don't have anything to add. I mean, pretty much echo everything you say there. I mean, it's impressive.
And they don't have Columbine in the lineup yet.
Right, and it's just impressive to see the strides that all the guys have made, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Wait till he gets back in the lineup; they're gonna be even better.
For sure. Okay, where are we at? 133.
Yeah, 133.
Dude, this weight was kind of fun. I mean, Wpial fun, right? For me, one of the early breakout stars of the Wpial this year, who just looks fantastic, is Collier Hartman.
Phenomenal.
My man is putting up points, buddy.
Looks phenomenal.
And it's just not – he's not just, like, doing it against, like, slouches. He's doing it against really, really good dudes. He's just putting pace together. One of the really true star breakouts for the Cannon Mac, Big Max over there. I just love what he's doing. And, he's not necessarily on the class of this weight class in Luke Willishow, which we'll get to here in just 1 second. But, man, I had to highlight Collier Hartman, a dude that's just really, really on the rise.
Agreed. Looks great. Like you said, scoring 1 million points. Kids looks really good right now, and he's going to be dangerous all year. But the class of this, like you said, our boy Willishow, as always, pinning everybody. I mean, not.
Did you see his interview? I think it was with Flo or with PA Power.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
It was awesome. I want to pin 100 dudes.
He said that he was a freshman. He goes, I need to have 100 pins. And they're probably going to get it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely on the track, and it just seems like he's he got a couple tech falls in here, so that's not helping his cause. But, man, you look at where he's at the Powerade bracket, and, I'd love to see him make a run and one of those guys, as we do our Powerade preview here in a couple of days.
You remember that run his brother went on at Powerade?
Incredible.
He was a senior. I think he was unseeded, maybe seeded 7th or 8th, but he ended up pinning like 3 seeded guys in a row.
One of the best tournaments runs I've ever seen, and like just would throw the kitchen sink at you like these dudes were not ready for that at all.
No, it wasn't. He literally went into the match, and like you said, he goes, "It's going to be ugly. I'm going to use every inch of this mat. My body's going to be in 10 different positions up in the air." He goes, "I'm throwing the kitchen sink, and it's going to just turn into an absolute slop fest." And it was so damn fun to watch.
So much fun.
It was entertaining as hell. He had the gym in like the quarterfinals. The whole gym was on their feet for a quarterfinal match because
he won OW that year. He won OW, right? I believe
he did.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The Willichels, those dudes, they wrestle good when their lights are brightest. So we'll see what happens, and see what happens with Mr. Luke, and great family. They all support us, and great things. So,
and the Wpial did well at this weight in general out there. Yes. I mean, he won it. Hartman took third. The Snatchco at West 8 took 7th, and then Miller from Bethel Park took 6th. So you had 4 placers out of the WPL in this weight class out of the 8. So very, very solid showing from those.
And Miller and Snatchco wrestled in the consolations, I believe, on the backside, which, that's a match that we might see, towards the end of the year. Miller gets that decision 8-5. Maybe last year 8-5 looks a little bit deeper, but man, that's one takedown and then it's closer than ever. So man, these guys are all close, and it's exciting to see one of these better weight classes at the end of the year.
Yep.
All right, so where are we at? 130, 140,
139. We had one placer here. That was Aiden Stout of Bethel. Took 8th in this bracket. And then same at 145. There was one placer out of the Wpial here. And that was another Bethel Park kid, Ian Bichelli, took 6th at 145. So we had two Bethel kids at 39 finishing top 8 here in the tournament.
Love it. Okay, where are we at? 45 or 52?
We're at 52 here. I don't believe we had anyone. Yeah, we did. Ethan Higgins at Bethel Park took 5th in this bracket.
Another one of those guys I'm high on, and I love Ethan Higgins. I think he's a guy that if we look up on Saturday night, he's going to be there.
Yes. That middle of the lineup with Bethel that Bethel has there, they're tough. They're really tough there, and Higgins is a guy I fully expect to see come March.
Okay, 160 pounds.
I don't think we had anyone at 60. 72, I don't think there was anyone there either.
No, but we definitely had someone at 189.
Yeah.
And I guess, we got to give this dude some flowers. He's young, but man, he's been impressive in the early part of his career. Hunter Snyder, just a guy that he's kind of been touted coming out of, the youth ranks, but it's always interesting to see how those dudes convert, especially at the bigger weights. We're not talking about a 107-pound freshman. This dude wrestled 172 pounds or 160 pounds last year as a freshman. Now he's wrestling 189 pounds as a sophomore, and just he's winning big tournaments, big matches. So really impressive stuff out of Hunter Snyder, and a guy that, kind of the next one of those rising stars in the Wpial.
Yeah, for sure. You hit the nail on the head there. Kids special. I watched him and Brady Brown, the dairy sophomore 189 pounder. They wrestled in the duel last week. Hell of a match. 2 of the best sophomores in the Wpial. It was. I mean, you watched the replay of it, did you? Did you watch it live?
Yep, I did.
Really good match. Really good match. Both kids are phenomenal. So yeah, Snyder looks like he's on a mission right now.
But that match, you could argue, is could easily be the AA champion and the AAA champion in the Wpial.
Yeah, that's a very, very fair argument.
So if you want to watch a good match, go back on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Yes, Flick, this is a free info ad for you. We love you. We appreciate you, brother. Go back and watch the Latrobe Dairy match from, about a few weeks ago, but it was fantastic. So that match was on there at 189 pounds. Another guy that we got so we're moving up to 215 pounds. I don't think we had anyone else at 189, right?
No, that was it. That was it at 89.
So 215, you move up, and Braden Collins out of Cannon Mac goes and takes second place at 215 pounds. impressive finish there. And Vito Bracchiavello from Shaler also takes 4th at 215 pounds.
Yeah.
And Hunter Goals takes 6th at 215 pounds.
And then
So
Shaler
great
had
stuff.
a second 215-pounder place.
They did. Look at this. 215
Trevor,
pounds,
yes.
7th place.
Signetti. So they had two 215-pounders place, as well with Goals and Collins. But man, that Collins kid, I watched him in the Norwin duel a couple weeks ago.
He's got a little brother too that's really good.
Yes, his brother's a freshman. It's their 89-pounder.
Braden or Bryce?
I think it's Bryce.
Yep.
They're good, man. And I'll tell you what, this
right now.
Braden is an issue for everybody he wrestles because he's long, he's athletic as hell, and he just moves forward. The kid's fun to watch wrestle. That kid's going to make a lot of noise. I didn't know what to expect of him out here because, like I said, I had only seen him once this year. And then when I watched some of his matches and saw he took second, Donnie, you'll like the kid, man.
And that's what the thing is with Ken and Mac. Like everyone counts Ken and Mac out, but they go out and beat North Allegheny this week, and they're just a team. It seems like they got dudes in the woodwork. You know what I mean? That they pull out of nowhere. That, oh my goodness, all of a sudden they got 2 extra guys in the lineup that no one, had figured out or everyone forgot about, and they're 10 points better. You know what I mean? So Ken and Mac's just a squad that you can never count out. Never. Even in last year they had a disappointing season, but. They'll just reload and advance. So yeah, definitely those 2 brothers are impressive stuff. I watched Bryce wrestle in the finals at the District 7. What do they call them? It's not allowed to be called the Wpial over at Kiski there, the junior high tournament. Yeah. The District 7 finals. But he wrestled, I believe it was Cheney Lewis, who wrestles for Neighborhood Academy out of the city.
He's really freaking good too.
Unbelievably good. He comments on the shows, big fan of us. And he's really impressive. Hit the freaking flying squirrel in that match, but we're going down a tangent. Anyways, Ken and Mac's gonna be good. Those 2 guys are really good. I'm excited to see where they fit in at the end of the year. Heavyweight.
3 guys here.
Yep. And all 3 guys, I think, have a fantastic chance to make it to the state tournament. Out of the heavyweight, heavyweight, I don't know. I feel like me and you give a little bit of love to heavyweight, where some people hate it because it's boring and it's only 1-point matches a lot of times, right? But man, for me, it's a lot of toss-up matches, so you really don't know who's going to win. So it's a lot of coin flips, which I enjoy. And all 3 of these guys, I feel like if you put them in a hat, Cam Dana finishing the highest, Michael Gibson, or Cam Dana finishing 5th place, Michael Gibson taking 7th place over Marco Scarton from Greater Latrobe, Michael Gibson from Bethel Park. But I feel like if you put all three of these guys in a bracket or round robin, I don't know who wins.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth at heavyweight. Not just these 3, but with Shep at TJ and Ben Lloyd at Lebo. I know there's couple names I'm forgetting, but this is the first year came off.
Which Gibson just beat Ben Lloyd, right? At this week at the door or whatever.
And, he beat him in the Lebo Bethel Park duel. So there's a lot of depth at heavyweight in AAA this year. Hamilton from Fox Chapel, he's in the mix. There's some depth there, and it'll be fun to watch. Like you said, throw him in a hat, see who comes out, because I think there's a lot of guys that are right neck and neck with each other.
And I love that. That's what makes it fun. And, I can't wait for it to kind of boil down. But, Kaz, I believe that's kind of all we have for everyone. We're going to have another show. Thursday morning. We'll try to release it Thursday afternoon. So I'm going to release this show here in a couple minutes, hopefully. And, we'll run our show for Thursday. We'll talk about Powerade. We'll talk about, Southmoreland. There's the Wheeling Park duels I know that's going on. So, bunch of stuff going on for the Wpial.
Yeah, going to be a fun holiday season with all the great wrestling we have. I'm looking forward to getting out there and seeing it.
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much to our sponsors, Quest School Wrestling, D1 Wrestling Club, and Smitty's Carpet Corner, and of course, the OG, the original Switch Custom Apparel, my man, Chris Cars. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the sponsor. Thank you so much to the fans. We appreciate you. That is all we have for D-Haw, for Kaz. We'll see you guys in a couple days.
And have a Merry Christmas.
Amen.